clear criterion. A man is upon the deen, al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi. We judge people by their companionship. We judge people by their allegiances. We judge people who, with respect to who they ally with. And this is a foundation from the foundations of the Sunnah. Allah Azza wa Jal has made it easy in His religion because, to give you an example, this is an easy principle for everybody to use and follow. Right? You don't need to have ilm in the affair. This is really a mercy upon the people. There's a narration from Imam Ahmad where he's asked about a man who comes to Baghdad, and he's said to be a person of the Sunnah, and so they went to Imam Ahmad and they said, this man, he's a man of the Sunnah. And Imam Ahmad said to them, well, who does he visit? Who does he go to? Well, he goes and visits the people who are the Qadariyah, who are known to basically who deny the Qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Ahmad said, well, this man is a Qadari. Full stop, and finished. He's a Qadari. If his companionship and the people he mixes with, spends his time with, whatever, is the people of Qadr, then he's a Qadari. So likewise, we apply the same principle. If a man is frequenting the tabligh, he sits with them, goes out with them, goes to the masajid, his time is, this is a tablighi, right? And we apply all of this same principle to everybody. So this is a mercy because maybe there might be many individuals who don't know, okay, well, what are the shubuhat of the Qadariyah or the Jahmiyah or the Ash'aris or the Tablighs, Ikhwanis, right? He is saved from having to know all of the details because he's been given a simple criterion. This man, I see him with the Ikhwanis on their platforms, whatever. He's an Ikhwani, khalas, it's over and done with, I can move on. Right? This is a mercy for the people of the Sunnah. Right? That we apply that's why these principles are there. Right? So a man is upon the deen of his friend. So these people whom you mentioned, that they claim to be upon the way of the Salaf, and yet we see them, they are with the followers of Al-Hajuri or Halabi or Muhammad Surur or whatever it might be, then we treat them upon their companionship. Simple. There's nothing complex or complicated about that. There's many narrations from the Salaf with respect to this. Implementing this principle that you judge a companion by his friendship, to the extent that even some of the Salaf, obviously this is with respect to the evil people of innovation, like in the time of the Mu'tazila, some of the Salaf used to say to their sons that I see you coming out from the house of a sinful woman or whatever, or a place where drink alcohol, right? That is more beloved to me than that I see you coming out of the house of Amr bin Ubaid. Amr bin Ubaid was the head of the Mu'tazila, right? So he didn't want his son to be taking knowledge from Amr bin Ubaid and to be mixing with him. Why? Because Amr bin Ubaid, they deny Allah's qadr, they deny the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they reject the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they call to khuruj against the sinful rulers. All this evil. Don't mix with that man. And if they saw people mixing with the people of innovation, they would suspect them. They would suspect them. Right? So this is a firm principle by which the people of the Sunnah are saved. Right? This is why the people of deviation, people of innovation, they hate these principles. They hate these affairs which are from the Sunnah. That's why they hate that the books of the Salaf that we read and we study, in which these affairs are mentioned in these usul, they hate these books. They belittle these books. They don't want the people to know what's in these books, because in these books is safety for the common person. The common person, if he has a general knowledge, this person is a Khariji, this person is Ash'ari, this person is Tabligh, this person is Ikhwani. If he has general knowledge, he can then apply these principles to be safe in his religion. He doesn't have to be an alim. He doesn't have to be a scholar. He doesn't have to know all of the detailed, what's wrong with these people, what's the evidences, what are the shubuhat, and have this detailed knowledge, because this is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Not every person who is upon the way of the Salaf, upon the way of the Sunnah, is at the same level. There are ulama, deeply rooted scholars. Then there is common people who basically all they know is, I believe in Allah and His oneness, His names, His attributes, right? And I believe in the angels, the books, the messenger, and I want to get to paradise, and I establish the prayer, and I establish, whatever, and he does that's all he wants. Well, that's sufficient for him, right? Beyond that, he's not capable, or he doesn't have the means, or he doesn't have the resources, or he doesn't have the time because he's preoccupied. And most people are like that, right? So in implementing these usul of the Salaf, there is safety for these types of people. I see that person on these platforms mixing with those people. Khalas, that's it. I know that this person. That's it. End of story. So this is what we apply. This is what we implement for people who make a claim to the Sunnah and Salafiyah. There are criterion. There are, just as in our topic, ikhtibar and imtihan. We don't make it a principle in our religion, but if someone makes a claim, then we can evaluate that claim. Do you understand? We don't go out testing, examining people, and what do you say? We don't. This is not from our way. But if a claim is made about a person, or he makes a claim, or someone comes, and we don't know anything about him, then because of a need, we are able to apply these types of principles. Judge a person by his companionship. Where does he go? Who does he take knowledge from? Who does he sit with? Who does he mix with? Who does he eat with? Who does he whatever, travel with, whatever. Right? Then we can see what this person is about. Yeah, and that is from our religion. It's from the principles of our religion.
How can you advise someone who, like, there's people who their aqidah is the aqidah of the Salafi aqidah, but in the manhaj aspect, they oppose the manhaj of the Salaf. So there's like this close resemblance.
No, but then how can they be that? How can they be upon the way of the Salaf then if they oppose the manhaj of the Salaf?
When you explain that to somebody, you say, "Oh, this person he teaches the books, he teaches this book and that book."
Yeah.
But then the manhaj is like it's corrupted.
Right.
So to the general person, when you try to explain to them, they say, "Oh, but this person teaches the same book, or this person teaches." How do you explain to them that there's a huge difference in aqidah and manhaj is like hand in hand?
Well, you have to explain to them that it's not just what a man says and what he teaches by which he's evaluated. A simple example: if a man says to his wife, "I love you," or a wife says to her husband, "I love you," or the child or whatever, right? Then do you take it just upon that speech, or do you say, well, okay, there must be actions that actually genuinely prove that? Do you understand? So we don't just take someone merely on his speech, otherwise people could make any claim that they wanted. There has to be substance to what you are saying or to what you are teaching. So if someone is teaching the books of the Salaf and the way of the Salaf, whatever, then by necessity it must show in his behavior, right? And so you can just point out to these types of people that in his behavior he's opposing what he's teaching. He's contradicting because if he's teaching from these books of the Salaf, the ones that we teach, Usul Sunnah and so on and so forth, then how can he be acting in opposition to what he's professing in his lessons? Right? Either he doesn't understand, he's ignorant, or he doesn't understand, or he's willfully opposing what he knows to be the truth. So either of these two, you shouldn't really take knowledge from him, right? So he's either ignorant, he doesn't understand, like he's teaching something without knowing he's actually opposing it, so he's jahil, or he's following his hawa and knowingly opposing the truth because maybe he's got some affiliation with these people or whatever it might be. So he's not worthy of being taken knowledge from, right? So you have to explain to these common people that if someone came to you wanting to start a business and said, "I'm trustworthy, I'm honest, you can trust me, do business with me," are you going to take him on his word? If someone comes to you and says, "Oh, your daughter, I'm a righteous, pious man, giving your daughter in marriage," are you going to take him on his word? Of course you're not. In your worldly dealings, you apply these principles. It's common sense. You wouldn't think otherwise, would you? Right? So you give these types of examples to the common person that if this man came to you, you wouldn't just take him on his word, would you? But someone sat, your hereafter is dependent upon what this man is teaching you or where this man is going to lead you. It's Jannah or Nar. And you're not even bothered. It doesn't make sense. Right? Even more so, you should be inquisitive. about finding, okay, where this, what is this man? Can I rely upon him? Does he, put in practice what he teaches in the masjid, in terms of the claim of being upon Salafi or whatever. Even more so, you should be concerned about this than worldly affairs. Yeah. Inshallah, we'll conclude there.